What does it really take to build a nation's future? Well, for Bangladesh, the answer seems to be artificial intelligence. Today, we're diving into one of the most ambitious national strategies you'll ever see, a detailed blueprint to completely reshape an entire country from the ground up. Let's jump right in. Let's just start with the headline number, because it's absolutely staggering. $10 trillion. That's the economic goal sitting right at the heart of this entire national vision. It's a number that's designed to make you stop and pay attention for sure. But what's really behind it?
Now, you might think that's just some crazy dream or a marketing slogan, but no. This quote is pulled directly from the official proposal for a National AI Council. This is the stated official objective. It is the North Star for a meticulously detailed strategy that spans decades. So yeah, that number is huge, but you've got to understand, it's actually just one piece of a much larger and honestly a much more profound vision for the entire country. This goes way beyond just money.
You know, when you read through the source documents, they keep using the specific phrase, national rejuvenation. The big idea here is to use this huge technological leap to tackle some of the country's most fundamental, long-standing challenges, things like poverty, corruption, and social injustice. It's aiming for a total societal transformation. And this right here, this visual perfectly captures that connection. On the left, you've got the cover of a book called The Architects of Tomorrow, which lays out the whole philosophy behind this movement. And on the right, that's the official logo for the National AI Council. You can literally see the idea, the philosophy being turned into a real, concrete, institutional plan. So who's actually in charge of turning this grand vision into a reality? Well, let's meet the chief architect of this whole thing, the National AI Council. Think of the NAIC as the central nervous system for this whole transformation. Its job is to guide literally everything, from the highest level policies and laws all the way down to making sure AI is being used safely and ethically in every single part of society. And just look at who's on this council. We're talking about the highest levels of power. It's chaired by the Prime Minister herself. You've got the heads of ICT, finance, education, health, plus top industry leaders, university experts, and the national cybersecurity chief all sitting at the same table. This makes it crystal clear. This is not a side project. This is a top-down, fully backed national priority. Okay, so we know who's in charge, but how exactly is this one council going to build a $10 trillion AI-powered economy? Let's take a look at the master blueprint. First up, part of its job is to govern. It's got to be the referee. This means writing the actual rulebook for AI in Bangladesh. We're talking about creating the laws and standards, building frameworks for safety and ethics, and maybe most importantly, making sure human rights are protected as all this new tech rolls out. It's all about building the guardrails first. But then, on the flip side, it's also the coach. This is the proactive part of the job. It's about actually building things, like a national AI cloud. It's about actively pushing AI into key areas like farming and medicine, automating government services, and sparking a whole new startup scene. So yeah, it's both the referee and the coach at the same time. Look, a plan this huge is just a piece of paper if you don't have a solid foundation to build it on. And in this blueprint, that foundation rests on three main pillars: solid policies, skilled people, and powerful partnerships. And the absolute cornerstone of the policy pillar, it's this one single piece of proposed legislation, the AI Governance Act of 2030. This is meant to be the legal bedrock for the country's entire AI ecosystem. And this is where it gets really impressive, because the level of detail is just wow. This isn't some vague promise. The proposal dives right into the hardest questions. Who's responsible when an AI messes up? How is our data protected? How do we stop deepfakes? How do we regulate autonomous machines? They're trying to solve the big challenges before they even fully arrive. Of course, the government can't do this alone. The whole plan really depends on this tripartite collaboration model. The easiest way to think about it is like this. The government's job is to set the rules and build the roads. Industry then drives on those roads, creating new businesses and investing money. And the universities? They provide the fuel, both the cutting-edge research and, crucially, the skilled people who make it all work. And that last point, the skilled people, is so critical that it gets its own massive target. That brings us to our next big number, 50,000. So what on earth is that? That's the target for the new National AI Academy, 50,000 learners per year. The plan is dead simple. You can't have an AI revolution without an army of AI experts. So the goal is to create this massive pipeline of talent, 50,000 new data scientists, AI engineers, and policy experts every single year.
Okay, so a vision is one thing and a plan is another, but a timeline is what makes it feel real. And this isn't some vague, someday idea. It's a phased 30-year roadmap that shows exactly how this whole thing is supposed to build over time. It's all broken into 3 clear phases. Phase 1, from now until 2030, is all about laying the foundation. Get the council up and running, pass the big laws, launch the academy. Then Phase 2, from 2030 to 2040, is all about expansion. This is where AI gets rolled out across government and key sectors, backed by a billion-dollar startup fund. And finally, Phase 3. Well, that's about achieving global leadership and turning Bangladesh into a country that actually exports AI tech and expertise to the rest of the world. So let's just pull back for a second and look at the big picture. We've seen the mind-boggling economic goal, we've met the institutional architect, and we've walked through the detailed roadmap. But what does it all really mean? What's the ultimate point of all this?
This quote from The Architects of Tomorrow really gets right to the heart of it. The message is pretty clear. The technology, the policies, the money, those are all just tools. The real project here is about national unity. The whole plan's success hinges on this one idea, getting 180 million people to move forward together with a single shared purpose.
Which leaves us all with one final, pretty fascinating question. We've seen nations built on industry, on natural resources, on ideology. Is this what's next? Is this a blueprint for building a national identity in a future deliberately and strategically around artificial intelligence? It is an incredibly audacious experiment, and you can be sure the entire world will be watching to see what happens.